Good afternoon, y'all. I'm back again with another video. Now I'm your host, the Supreme Litigant. Y'all already know the routine, man. Go ahead and hit that like button and that subscription button. I'll give y'all a second to do that. All right, I'm gonna jump right into this. Thank you for subscribing and hitting that like button, by the way. This video, a lot of y'all probably don't know this stuff, but this video is to give you an idea of the nature of the action. Police officers are unknown to common law. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read you cases, and here are the case citations right here. I'm not going to read the whole case, but I'm going to read you citations from these cases. And you already know the routine. You should go and read these for yourself. A police officer, unknown to the common law, is a creature of statute, and as such has what does that say? Sorry about that, y'all. And as such has and can only exercise powers as are given by the legislature expressly or derivatively. I'm guessing that may be an error right there. I thought I read it wrong, but I didn't. So I'm guessing that's an error. And there's the case citation right there, y'all. Although one Florida appellate court has held that a municipal police officer is charged with the duty derived from the common law to render aid in emergencies to the ill, the injured, or the distressed, the general rule is that a municipal police department and its officers are creatures of statute and not of the common law origin. And there's corpus juris secundum, which means if you go to corpus juris secundum 62 on page 568, that is where you will see that citation in support of what is just being said here. The office of policeman or police patrolman or members of a police department was unknown to the common law, and wherever it exists is a creature of statute or municipal ordinance. Statutory officers possess only such authority as is expressly conferred or necessarily implied for due and efficient exercise of powers and duties expressly granted. I'm going to stop right there, y'all. This is my theory, okay? They are created by statutes and ordinance and stuff like that. That is civil law. Civil law, statutes, and ordinance, okay? Admiralty courts are civil law courts. So when this police officer is exercising these so-called duties under civil law, they have, let me rephrase that, under admiralty jurisdiction in the form of civil law. That's what I think they're doing with these policemen. That's what I think. That is my theory and what I think that they're doing, because admiralty courts are civil law courts. Police officers only exist through creations of statutes. They're unknown to the common law. There's only 4 jurisdictions: common law, equity, admiralty, and maritime. They're civil officers. There's the this is right here is the case in support of that, or the document in support of that. Y'all can go and read that. Policeman has been defined as a member of the police. Police is defined an organized civil force for maintaining order, preventing and detecting crime, and enforcing the laws, the body of men by which the municipal laws and regulation of a city, town, or district are enforced. I'm going to stop, and I want to say this, y'all. This is my theory. I haven't read any cases on this, but they are very, very, very similar to the military, the policemen. They're very similar to the military. If you ask me, I would say I would go as far as calling them quasi-military or really military. They're very similar to the military to me. The office of policeman or police patrolman was unknown to the common law, and wherever it exists is a creation of statute or municipal ordinance. In its generic sense, it includes every member of the police force, whatever may be his grade or rank. And that's the case right there in support of that contention. At the outset, it must be observed that the office of policeman or police patrolman or member of the police department was unknown to the common law, unless created by statute or by ordinance, adopted under statutory authority. No such office legally exists. And the reason I'm pulling up again, the reason I'm showing you different cases from different so-called states is to show you that this is a principle. You're not crazy. 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 A police force is peculiar, sui generis, you may say, in its formation and in its relation to the city government. It is practically an organized force, resembling in many respects a military force, organized under the laws of the United States, and equally as important as to the functions it is required to perform. Let's go down some more. It is not an ordinary branch of executive government, like the mayor's office, even. Your water department, that's an administrative agency. The comptroller's department, that's an administrative agency. The health department, that's an administrative agency. Even but, as I say, it is peculiar to itself. And to look at, and to look at it in the same light that other branches of the executive department are regarded would be a mistake in a judicial decision. It is a department which requires that the members of it shall surrender their individual opinion and power to act, and submit to that of a controlling head just as much as the common soldier must surrender his own opinion and power of action to that of his commanding officer. So would the commanding officer be like a chief of police, or would that be like a sergeant over an inferior officer, subordinate officer, or whatever you want to call it? I would say yeah. And there is the same necessity or discipline of regulation existing in the police department that exists in regard to the military department. The military department is a part of the executive branch of government, too, just to let y'all know. That's an administrative agency. It's a part of the executive branch of government. Strict discipline must be enforced, and it must be enforced in a manner that is effective and without the supervision or regulation of any other department of the state, and particularly without any attempt on part of the judicial department, which is a branch of the government entirely distinct and separate from the executive branch, to regulate it in any way, and particularly to regulate its discipline. Y'all just think about that. And just think on why you have police departments all over the country. These are all administrative agencies, by the way. So maybe the theory is not a theory and where they say we're under martial law, or so to speak. Just pointing that out. Read some more. This is all from the same case, by the way. Let's see. The office of policeman or patrolman was unknown to the common law, and wherever it exists is a creature of statute or municipal ordinance. In its generic sense, it may include every member of the public, whatever is okay. So I already read that. Let's scroll down a little bit. A policeman has been variously defined as an officer or a peace officer or a civil officer. Under some provisions, creating the office of policeman is considered a public officer holding his office as a trust for the state and not as a matter of contract between himself and the city. Although for some purposes he may be regarded also as a city officer, but in construing particular provisions creating the office, it has been variously held that a policeman is a city officer in a proper sense and not a state officer, that he is not a public officer, that he is neither a state nor an officer acting in a purely local capacity, but is an officer sui generis, that he is only a ministerial officer. If he's enforcing statutes, he's following ministerial duties. That's what ministerial officers do. They follow statutory procedures. Police officers can in no sense be regarded as agents or employees of the city. There was something up here that stood out to me. I'm gonna see if I can find it again. Uh, You don't vote for police officers. You vote for the sheriff. The sheriff is a common law officer. That means the sheriff's, what is that? My phone is ringing. That means the sheriff has all of the powers and duties that office originally had under the common law, whether uh, a statute authorizing the sheriff to do that or not exists or not. The sheriff is an original common law officer. Let's see. A determination must be made in this case in the first instance as to whether under the charter and ordinances of the city of what is that? Escabana, police officers of that city or officers or employees. The only reason why I put this last part in here is because I want to elaborate on something right at the charter. You see, these corporations in this particular case would be called the city of Escabana. That is a corporation. That corporation has a charter. Don't they grant banks charters in states, so-called states? That's exactly what they do. They grant them charters. That charter is their constitution. So this is what I do in criminal cases. I'm gonna get off topic just a little bit, but this is what I do in criminal cases when they try to prosecute me in my court, because I am sovereign. I am an extension. Let me rephrase that. The state is an extension of my sovereignty. There is no state without me, without the people. Y'all understand that? So what I do is I demand a copy of their charter that authorizes them to prosecute me in my court. Because I did not authorize my public servants to do that. So I need to see this in writing somewhere. Y'all understand what I'm saying? All right, let's go down a little bit more. That might be it. I think it may be something else down here. Yeah. Well, yeah, that'll be it for this video. But I just wanted to point that out to y'all. I think that's very interesting. Police officers are unknown to the common law. So what jurisdiction are these police officers operating under? Please tell me they're civil officers. Can civil officers procreate criminal charges against you? I don't think so. What they're doing is, since the nature of the action is admiralty, and admiralty is civil, they're treating it as if it's criminal. That's what they're doing. And these police officers are so-called procreating these so-called criminal charges against you. All of this stuff is admiralty. All of this stuff is civil. It's all civil. All of it is civil. The only one that I know of, in my opinion, that can that can arrest you for a criminal crime, I'm going to say crime, is the sheriff. And when I say crime, I mean like under the common law, is the sheriff. That's the only one that I know so far. If I'm wrong, y'all let me know. It might be a constable or something that probably can do that. A coroner, probably. I really don't know. But I know the sheriff can. I would have to study the rest of this stuff. But anyway, I hope y'all learned something from this video. If you haven't, before I end this video, hit that subscription button. Pound that subscription button and hit that like button. I really appreciate it. Supreme Litigant is out. Peace.